then whatever. What are we doing? What are we even talking about? I want to go. I want to get my stuff, and I want to get the back to the country that I actually want to live in.
Okay, Nicole, whatever you want. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Me too.
So we left Nicole and Mahmoud at what felt like the end of their relationship last week. And this week, things don't seem much better. Nicole is sick of Egypt, sick of Mahmoud and his controlling ways, and she just wants to go home. To be honest, I'm not sure why she came back to Egypt in the first place. She hated it before, and she hates it just as much this time around.
Let me be who I am. Just like, let me have a little freedom, like just to, you know.
You have like more freedom more than any wife I can have.
But I'm not Egyptian.
And I'm not American.
Yes, Nicole, you're American, and yes, Mahmoud, you're Egyptian. Maybe next they'll finally be able to see what we've seen this entire time. That they're just too different for this relationship to ever work. It's the same arguments over and over again with no resolution. So let's start at the beginning of this episode. We join Nicole still sat in the hotel lobby after Mahmoud had threatened divorce and then taken off. Nicole is sulking and still can't believe what's just happened.
Mahmoud's been gone for over an hour, and even though I told Mahmoud to leave me alone, I don't think I expected him to just leave me stranded.
Really, Nicole? Let me quote you from last week. Leave me alone! Just leave me the alone, Mahmoud. I don't want to talk to you anymore. But now that Mahmoud's given you the space that you asked for, you're still unhappy. What's that? What's that I see? Are they the consequences of your actions? Don't get me wrong, not that Mahmoud is in any way right here. He's a complete jerk too. But Nicole, you asked him to leave and you are 38 years old. You're not that helpless. I'm sure you can get a taxi back yourself. Heck, you're sat in a hotel lobby, Nicole. I'm sure there's someone at reception that can help you out.
In some hotel, in some weird country that I don't even speak the language.
Nicole's comment here is so telling. To call Egypt some weird country is not only disrespectful, but also begs the question, if you hate it so much, what are you doing, Nicole? Why did you come back? The country, the culture, the religion isn't magically going to change from the last times you were there. Look, here's the facts, and I know Nicole watches this channel, she watches my videos, so I don't want to be too harsh, but ultimately, she's been with Mahmoud for years. This is her second time living in Egypt. So her saying this kind of stuff, disrespecting the country, and yes, she doesn't speak the language, but again, that's on you, Nicole. You're not going to get any sympathy from me for that. But let's carry on. Let's see what else an emotional Nicole has to say.
And he really cares about being a husband. And when anything stresses him out, it's just like a completely different person.
Maybe that's the case, Nicole. Maybe Mahmoud really does care about being a husband. But here's the crucial point. Mahmoud's definition of being a husband, means being a good Muslim husband. Mahmoud takes his religion really seriously and he wants to be a good husband under the teachings, under the eyes of Islam. Unfortunately, even despite the fact that Nicole is also Muslim, that doesn't make Mahmoud a good husband for Nicole. It doesn't take a genius to work out that this relationship is wearing Nicole down. The constant fighting, the intensity of all of it has left her drained and exhausted, to the extent where this independent lady who'd previously visited Egypt alone by herself now can't even make it out of the hotel lobby. Which might explain why Mahmoud sends out the search party. You see, with the sun now setting, Mahmoud returns to the hotel with his older brother Ahmed.
He gets so upset at me. He said, no matter what happened or what she did, how you do that? How you left your wife somewhere?
Ahmed is shocked that his little brother would just abandon his wife like that. But it does have me questioning. I wonder what Ahmed would do if Nicole was screaming, leave me the alone, to him on the street. Now look, Ahmed is clearly here to do some damage control, and I get the impression this probably isn't the first time he's had to do this. So he sits down with Nicole and tries to talk to her.
I come for you, not for Mahmoud. You are here one of our family, not just foreigner or like this. Never. You now become sister. Anything make you angry, you tell me.
Ahmed is obviously much older and much more mature than Mahmoud. He clearly knows exactly what to say in order to make Nicole feel seen and heard. And perhaps that's because he's been through similar situations himself with his foreign wife from China, Fatima. But Here's the thing, Nicole and Mahmoud's issues won't be a quick fix. It just feels like they don't respect each other, and I just don't know how you fix that.
When Ahmed calls me his sister, it was really meaningful, actually. It feels like I really had an ally.
Calm down. Okay. What happened?
On the surface, it does seem like Nicole has an ally here. Every time we've seen Ahmed, he's always taken Nicole's side. We've seen him criticise Mahmoud for not educating Nicole about their customs. And we've also seen him openly call his brother immature and spoilt.
But I know Mahmoud is a very good guy, wallah. He just...
I believe that.
I know. His mind may be a little small.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting, isn't it? Even his own brother thinks that Mahmoud is small-minded. Now, we're going to see later on in this episode just how different Mahmoud and Ahmed really are. But I've got to say, from everything that I've seen of Ahmed so far, I like the guy. There is a part of me wondering whether some of this is PR damage control. Maybe to an extent he's trying to make sure that his family don't get badly portrayed on worldwide TV. But even with that in mind, he's clearly talking from experience.
Me also with my wife, first 1 year, 2 year, we have this problem too much.
Really?
Really. After this, she understands me, I understand she. This will take time.
Now, this isn't the first time that we've heard Mahmoud's family talk about taking their time and being patient with Nicole. The only member of the family that doesn't seem to have got that memo is Mahmoud. But my question here is, despite what Ahmed's saying, is that really true understanding? Like, did Ahmed and Fatima genuinely come to understand each other? Or did Fatima cave into that way of life? Was it understanding, or did she just get sick and tired of arguing? After all, from what we've seen, Fatima obediently wears her hijab, she dresses modestly, and she doesn't socialise outside the family. But she also seems really sad about this. So is this a glimpse into what Nicole can expect for her future if she also stays in Egypt?
Islam woman, queen at home. But Mahmoud never had woman. This is first girlfriend, first wife. He have no experience. So I fix it.
Yeah, that explains a lot about Mahmoud. He's very inexperienced, and it shows. I mean, imagine if you were to have got married within days to your very first boyfriend or girlfriend. For most of us, that wouldn't have been a good outcome. It's clear for us all to see that this marriage and getting married so quickly was a huge mistake. Mahmoud, with all of his inexperience with women, seems to have thought that it would be easy to mould Nicole into his ideal bride. Now, Mahmoud is eventually invited by Ahmed to join the conversation, and it's such a bizarre situation. Ahmed takes on the role of some kind of marriage counsellor.
I still mad at her about what she did to me.
Say hi to my wife, stupid guy.
Mahmoud's immaturity is on full display here. He looks like a small boy getting told off by his dad. He's clearly still mad about Nicole's actions. But what exactly did Nicole do? Because yes, while she shouldn't have pushed him, he also shouldn't have grabbed her. Both of them were in the wrong. And if Mahmoud can't see this, if he continues to act like the victim, then this isn't going to end well.
It's not except like you pushing me around people.
Hey Mahmoud, زعلش Nicole.
I'm sorry about that in a way.
Nicole tries to explain that Mahmoud had been picking on her all day over small things, but Mahmoud refuses to acknowledge this. He refuses to accept that he did anything wrong. He maintains that he threatened Nicole with divorce because it was unacceptable that she pushed him in public. And when he eventually gives an apology, it's a half-assed apology. It's fake. And that just basically makes this entire conversation totally meaningless.
Well, certain things need to change, Mahmoud, because there's only room for, like, this person that you want to be in a relationship with instead of the person you are in a relationship with.
No, my love, no.
That's certainly true, Nicole, but it also applies to you, doesn't it? Nicole is also married to a version of Mahmoud that doesn't exist. A version of Mahmoud that's cool with her wearing whatever she wants. Cool with her socialising with as many female or male friends as she wants. A version of Mahmoud that isn't controlling and judgmental. That's a version of Mahmoud that doesn't exist. It's a fantasy. Both of these guys are married to idealised versions of each other, and they both need to wake up.
let me be who I am. Just like, let me have a little freedom, like just to,
You
just,
have like more freedom more than any wife I can have.
but I'm not Egyptian.
And I'm not American.
Look at Mahmoud's face here. It's filled with so much hatred for what Nicole is saying. How can he expect us to believe that he's in love with her when that's his reaction to Nicole simply asking to be herself? It's the same fight over and over again. Both of these guys don't feel like the other is compromising enough, but neither of them are willing to change their own stance.
Then whatever, what are we doing? What are we even talking about? I want to go, I want to get my stuff, and I want to get the back to the country that I actually want to live in.
Okay, Nicole, whatever you want. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Me too.
Yes, we're all tired of this. Look, at this point, Nicole, just stick to your word. Go home, grab your stuff, and leave. You don't want to be in Egypt. You don't like it there. You don't feel like you fit in. Fine, cut your losses and go home for God's sake.
Nicole, when I leave, I will let here go. If the life going to be like this way, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't know what a lot I have to do.
And just as it looks like Nicole's about to leave, like she's about to grab her things and head to the airport, Ahmed jumps in to try and salvage this situation. I'm screaming at my TV screen here. Please, Ahmed, stay out of this. Let this relationship run its course. There's nothing to save here. But instead, like a wise Yoda, he manages to get Nicole to backtrack.
Now, you're angry, he's angry. No need to talk about something make you angry. The lady is talking now. When you come down and we come down, everything will fix it.
No, Ahmed, no, this is terrible advice. These two have been constantly proving that no matter what mood they're in, their conversations go nowhere. Nothing ever gets solved. I mean, that explosive fight happened in the first place because Nicole bottled up her feelings. She kept postponing important conversations. But Ahmed has successfully managed to derail Nicole's mission to leave Egypt. And he attempts to lighten up the mood by joking around and forcing Mahmoud to apologise to his wife.
And I tell you, she's queen here. So you shall say sorry to her, please.
Okay, I'm sorry, honey.
Are you?
Yeah.
You better really be sorry right now.
I'm sorry.
Another meaningless apology, another argument with no resolution. Forget Nicole, we're the ones living in Groundhog Day here. They're incapable of actually working through their problems. Nonetheless, here we are. The three of them then go home. And the next day, it seems like Ahmed's continuing to play peacemaker because he organises some family time. This is the perfect opportunity for Nicole to actually talk to Fatima. Find out what her life is like, what Nicole's life could be like too, if she doesn't get out of there.
Don't worry. I first come to Egypt. I fat here.
They have like a biggest fight more than I think we have sometimes.
Now, I understand Ahmed's logic here. He wants to reassure Nicole that what she's feeling, what she's going through is totally normal. She's not the only one to have experienced this. But the problem is, whilst Fatima might be willing to wear the hijab and cover her hair, while she might be willing to dress modestly, Nicole knows she'll never go back to that again. So the whole notion of presenting Fatima as an example for Nicole is completely flawed. Nicole takes this opportunity to ask Fatima about the headscarf.
Before not have scarf.
No.
After come here. Because we live also maybe 3 or 4 years with her family in China, people look at me too much.
That's interesting. So Fatima didn't wear a headscarf in China because not too many people wear it there. It attracted too much attention. But after moving back to Egypt, where lots of people wear headscarves, it became easier to wear one. But notice how it's Ahmed speaking on Fatima's behalf here. When she gets a moment to speak her truth, Fatima leans over to Nicole and whispers something in her ear.
Oh,
What she said?
Like you, she know I know.
They have secret now.
Ahmed and Mahmoud are like chalk and cheese, but at the end of the day, Ahmed, in his own way, over a long period of time, managed to convince Fatima to wear a hijab, even though, by her own admission, deep down in her heart, she really doesn't like it. Now, it's a little unnerving to see Fatima laugh it off. That's a habit she actually seems to do a lot. Like earlier, when she laughed off how much her and Ahmed used to fight. Perhaps that's just her being a bright, bubbly lady. Maybe she really does see the funny side of how much she and Ahmed have gone through, how much they've evolved. Or maybe it's a case of laughing so you don't cry, trying to convince yourself everything's fine.
ممكن as if كم طويلة بصراحة عشان برا ممكن شمس حر قوي لا مش قادرة.
Now, on that topic of dressing modestly and wearing the hijab, as uncomfortable and hot as it is, there's one major difference between Fatima and Nicole. Fatima explains that she changed the way she dressed to do something good for God. In other words, this wasn't a sacrifice for her husband. This was a sacrifice for her religion. But therein lies the problem, because we know Nicole's having massive doubts about her religion. She's questioning whether she did the right thing converting to Islam. So what helped Fatima to adjust isn't going to help Nicole. Perhaps Ahmed picks up on this, because it's at this point he reveals he actually doesn't follow all of the rules of Islam. This comes as a complete shock to Mahmoud. But when Nicole opens up and reveals that she misses the small things like having a beer with her dad, Ahmed reveals that he too misses having a drink.
If you want time with me.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
When I got child.
If my mom knows, you know, Mama knows, Ahmed did that.
Ahmed is the real MVP here. He's showing Mahmoud through his actions that Mahmoud can relax a little. Ahmed relaxed his religion when living in China. He has a foreign wife and he's learned to enjoy himself, to not take everything so seriously, to not be so small-minded, as he says. Maybe that's the secret to their successful marriage. A bit of give and take. That's something that Mahmoud could really learn from.
So now, this first time he heard I drink tequila. You need to learn to calm down, because I'm afraid too much you will talk to my mother.
The more we get to know Ahmed, the more it's becoming obvious that Mahmoud, despite being the youngest, seems to also be the most serious about everything, including his religion, to a point where his older brother is worried that Mahmoud will snitch on him. Now, we know that Mahmoud's dad died when he was young. We also know that he considers his uncle, the uncle that seems a lot more strict, as being a father figure. It's just speculation, but I do wonder whether Ahmed grew up with a more lenient father figure than Mahmoud grew up with. But whether that's the case or not, if Mahmoud wants to follow in his brother's footsteps and have a successful marriage with a foreign wife, maybe he too needs to relax his religious rules. But sadly, I don't think Mahmoud's picking up on this lesson.
Because Ahmed grew up, no, it's haram. But like, I need to think about, we can do mistake and learn from what we did. The same with Nicole. She can do like mistake, it's okay.
No, Mahmoud, that's not the lesson here. He sees his brother's actions and he still sees Nicole's actions from yesterday as a mistake. He hopes that both can learn from their mistakes, but he completely loses sight of the fact that maybe they weren't mistakes to begin with. Maybe they didn't live up to his unrealistic expectations, but it's him that needs to realign. He needs to become more realistic in what he expects from people. Sadly, from what Mahmoud's saying, it's clear he still hopes Nicole will eventually change her mind about clothing, but we know that's just not gonna happen. So again, this conversation is meaningless.
If we started too fast, I said yes to a lot of things that I wasn't ready for.
Okay, no problem. Time still have. Start again.
Yeah, this we have to try.
Start over? But how? Will Mahmoud actually give Nicole some leeway when it comes to her clothing? Because ultimately, how can these two possibly start again when they know that deep down in their core, there are things that neither of them want to change about themselves?
I've never stopped loving Mahmoud. You know, it would be easier actually if I could, but for whatever reason, the love is still there.
Really, Nicole? That's the story that you're trying to sell here? That you're still madly in love? Because I've yet to see any evidence of that. If that's the story they're looking to sell us, I'd like a refund, please.